guys, it's Sudi here and welcome back to another video. I'm here with Yuki, everyone's favorite little boy. So I've made a couple videos on my Cockatiel Yuki, and lately those videos have been getting quite a lot of views. I've been receiving tons of comments from people asking me if I think they should get a Cockatiel. So today I thought I would make a video talking about what it's like to have a Cockatiel and if a Cockatiel is the right pet for you. There aren't really a lot of Cockatiel videos on YouTube, so I thought this would be a good idea. Just so you guys know, I'm not an expert or anything. I've only had my Cockatiel for about 5 months, but I have grown up with budgies and canaries my whole life, so I do have quite a lot of experience with birds. I've also just done a lot of research. It's kind of what I do in my spare time. I just research animals, so I do know a lot about them, and I just thought I would share the information that I've learned while keeping a Cockatiel and just what I've learned by having him for the time I've had him for. So Yuki is quite young. He's not even a year old yet. He'll be a year old in August this year, so a lot of people tell me that he is very small, which he is pretty small for a Cockatiel. They do get bigger than him. He could just be a slow grower, or he could just be naturally a small Cockatiel. Males are usually smaller than females. Show off how dirty your face is. Look how dirty your face is! He just ate some vegetables, so his face is very dirty. So if you're looking to get a Cockatiel, the first thing I suggest is that you don't get one from a pet store. Now, pet stores are different all over the world, but most of my viewers do come from America, and American pet stores, from what I've heard, aren't very good. The birds are usually quite overpriced, and usually they won't be tame. If you're getting a bird from like a chain pet store, they're usually aviary raised / parent raised birds, so they're not very used to humans. I recommend you get your bird from a breeder, a reputable breeder. Usually breeders are the ones that hand raise birds, or from like a bird specialty store, or you adopt a bird from somewhere. But where I live, there isn't any bird rescues or anything like that. The animal shelter that I volunteer at very rarely gets birds, so if you don't have the option to adopt a bird, then it's best to look into a good breeder. Make sure they're actually good first, make sure a lot of people have been with them before, and ask them a lot of questions to make sure they're actually legit. I don't want to get into the whole debate of bad breeders and good breeders, so it's best just to do your own research into the breeder if you are looking to get one from a breeder. I got Yuki from a very reputable breeder, who a friend of mine also got her Cockatiel from. Basically, when you get a bird, you can either get one that's been parent raised / aviary raised, or hand raised. Parent raised / aviary raised, whatever you want to say, basically means the bird was raised by their own parents, their bird parents, which usually means the bird hasn't had much contact with humans or any at all, so they won't be very tame, and it will take a long time to tame them. This also can mean that sometimes you'll have to get 2 Cockatiels, because a lot of the time aviary raised Cockatiels don't really bond with humans the same way they bond with their own birds. Hand raised means that the bird was raised by a human, so usually they're already very tame, and a lot of the time they very easily bond with you, a lot easier than an aviary raised Cockatiel anyway. Yuki is a hand raised Cockatiel, so as soon as I got him, he was already very tame, and it took him about a month to get completely comfortable with me, and now he's very clingy towards me and pretty much doesn't want to leave my side. I also want to say, even if your bird is hand raised, don't expect them to get used to you immediately. It does take a little while. Like I said, it took Yuki about a month, but even then it may take longer for you. Every bird is different. My boyfriend has 2 Cockatiels. One of them he got from the same breeder. She's hand raised, and she's a female, so just know that females can be a little more shy than males, and they may take a bit longer to get used to you. His Cockatiel, I believe, took about 2 or 3 months to become completely comfortable with him. So just be aware, you gotta be patient with them and give them time to get used to you. Now, I've had a lot of people comment on some of my Cockatiel videos that I'm cruel for keeping just one Cockatiel, and that they should be kept in pairs. But this isn't actually true a lot of the time. In fact, introducing another Cockatiel to a hand-raised Cockatiel could potentially do more harm than good. Birds can actually bond with humans the same way they bond with other birds. Now, this completely depends on your bird. As you guys can probably tell, Yuki is very comfortable with me. He loves being around me. He pretty much never leaves my shoulder. If I try to take him off my shoulder, he flies right back to me. When I get up in the morning and uncover his cage, he runs back and forth his perch and squawks until I let him out, and then he'll cuddle into my neck, and it's so cute. So obviously he is very, very comfortable with me, and if I introduce a new cockatiel to Yuki, he'd probably just be scared of it, and it can also ruin the bond that we've made together. If your bird is not comfortable with you and is very scared of you and is an aviary raised bird, then I do recommend you get another cockatiel, because some of them just don't bond with humans the same way they bond with other birds, and if they're not bonding with you and don't want to interact with you, I really recommend you do get them another bird friend so they have something to interact with, because they really need someone, whether it's a human or another bird, and if they just don't like you, then it's really best to get them a friend, because every bird is different, and unfortunately if your bird isn't hand raised, a lot of the time they will find it harder to bond with you. But it is still possible, so I still recommend you try to anyway. It just may take a long time and a lot of patience, but I'm not going to talk too much about that in this video. There are a lot of other videos you can watch on how to tame your bird, but that isn't really what this video is about. This is more just about if you should get a cockatiel. Oh, you're so cute. Yes, you are. He's a pretty boy. So as you can tell, cockatiels can be very affectionate and very clingy. If you have one tame cockatiel, it's likely they will bond with you and become very attached to you, which is a good thing, but also some people can find that a bit annoying, because if you're not giving them attention, they'll let you know if they want attention. Often they will make a squawking call sound if they want to see you. This can be same with males and females, and when they're out of the cage they pretty much will never leave your side. Now cockatiels need a lot of attention. If you don't have the time to take a cockatiel out of their cage every day, it probably won't be the best pet for you, because they really need that attention daily. I work from home, so I'm able to give Yuki time out of his cage every single day for pretty much the majority of the day. He just sits on my shoulder while I'm working and stuff, which is really fun, but sometimes he can get a little bit naughty and he'll try to rip the keys off my keyboard and stuff. I kind of want to like get him his own keyboard so he can have one for himself instead of ruining mine. If you go to school or work, you can still get a cockatiel, but I recommend that you get them a very large cage with lots of toys and things to do so they don't get bored while you're not home, and take them out of their cage once you get home and just spend as much time with them as you can. This is Yuki's cage back here. It's a very large cage for a cockatiel. If you take your cockatiel out every day for the majority of the day, you don't necessarily need a cage as big as mine, but I still like to give him as much space as I can. Although he doesn't really care for the toys in his cage, he just wants to be with me. One thing I was also going to mention, but I forgot about it, is if you are someone who travels a lot, then a bird probably isn't the right pet for you, or probably any pet to be honest. By a lot I mean like if you're traveling like every month, every 2 months, and you're away for a long time, it really probably isn't a good idea to get a bird or any pet unless you have someone who also lives with you, who the pet is also bonded to, because your bird will miss you and they can become pretty upset and depressed when you're not there. It's really not a good idea to be leaving them a lot for long periods of time, because they really need someone who's going to be there for them pretty much every day. I very rarely travel, like probably once every 2 years, not even that maybe. You also need to realize that cockatiels have a pretty long lifespan in captivity. They can live for about 15 to 20, even 25 years, which is quite a long time for such a little bird. That's even longer than like a dog and a cat, so you have to be prepared that they're going to be with you for a very long time. So if you think you're going to be traveling a lot in the future, or going to uni or something like that, or moving out of your house and you can't take your bird with you, probably don't get a bird, because so many birds get rehomed every day and it's just not fair for them. They go through so much stress, and you really shouldn't get a pet if you're not prepared to take care of them for their whole lifespan. Cockatiels can also be loud birds, so if you hate noisy things, then a bird probably won't be the best pet for you, because they can be quite noisy. Females are a lot quieter than males. They don't really sing the same. They still make noises, but it's kind of more like squawking rather than singing. Yuki sings a lot. I teach him a lot of tunes. He can sing the Totoro theme song. He can sing If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands. And he can wolf whistle, and he says Toby as well. That's my dog's name. If Toby starts barking outside, he goes, Toby! It's really cute.
So grown. While I wasn't looking, the hero you admire so much actually began Yes, I'm laughing at you.
So yeah, males can learn songs and tunes really well, but they can also be quite loud, but personally I really like the sound of his singing, so it doesn't bother me at all. And since I've had budgies my whole life, I'm used to having birds that are pretty loud. I've also had a lot of people ask me how I deal with having dogs as well as my bird, and if they can still have a bird if they have a dog or a cat. Yes, you can still have a bird if you have a dog or a cat, but you do have to be very careful. Never put them in the same room if your bird is out of the cage. As you guys probably know, I have 2 dogs. When Yuki is in his cage, they really don't care about him. Sometimes Toby gets a bit curious if Yuki starts like flapping his wings in his cage. If you have an aggressive dog that's like scaring your bird while in the cage, then I definitely recommend you keep that dog or cat, whatever it is, out of the room of all times, even if your bird's in the cage. And don't ever try to introduce your bird to your dog when the bird's out of the cage. It's just not worth the risk at all, because dogs and cats are predators, so they have that natural instinct of a bird as food, and it's just not worth the risk of your cat or dog killing your bird. You may see videos online of people that have their dog or cat that are friends with their bird, which can happen sometimes, but I don't really like those videos because I don't want to promote the idea that you should try to get them to get along, because that's not very likely, and even if they do get along for a bit, it's still not a good idea to put them together, because you never know, your dog or cat might just snap and it's not worth potentially losing your animal. Another thing is their diet. So a lot of pet stores might tell you that you can just give them some seed, they'll be right. But that's not really true. Seeds should actually really be not even half of their diet, to be honest. You really want the diet to be mostly be fresh vegetables. Yuki gets daily fresh vegetables. I make him this thing called chop, which is basically a mix of all kinds of veggies all blended together, and he seems to really like it. He has a lot of favorite vegetables, like one of his favorite vegetables is silver beet. He really likes it, and it also makes his face green, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, you want to give your cockatiel lots of veggies. Every single day, fresh vegetables. Really beneficial for them. It's way better than seeds. Seeds are very fatty and can potentially cause your bird to be overweight. Pellets are also another good thing. I have tried pellets with Yuki before, but he wasn't very interested in them. He didn't eat like any of them. But I do want to try again with a different type of pellets. The only thing is, pet stores in my area don't sell like any pellets, so I have to just find somewhere online to get them. But from my research, pellets are a lot better for them than seeds and can contain a lot more nutrients and better stuff they need. Sometimes birds take a little while to get used to vegetables. I know my boyfriend's bird, he also has a cockatiel. He has 2 cockatiels actually. They don't like vegetables at the moment, and I believe he's currently trying to get them to eat more vegetables, because it can take a little bit of training to get your bird to eat better food. You just have to slowly wean them onto the new food, and that can take a little while. I fed vegetables to Yuki as soon as I got him, so he very quickly got used to them. I recommend you do some research too on safe vegetables for your bird too, because there are certain foods that are poisonous to birds, like avocados I know are poisonous, and chocolate and candy, all that kind of human food stuff you don't want them to eat. So I recommend you do some research on that in your own time, because if you're eating something at your desk, like if you're eating chips or something, your bird's probably gonna try and take it from your mouth. That's what he does. He tries to take food from my mouth when I'm eating. So you have to be kind of careful of that, because you don't want them to eat something they shouldn't be eating. Fruit is also very good for them, but that's more of like a once a week thing, because fruit has a lot of sugar in it. So vegetables are a lot better than fruit. He's dropped the silver beet all over my arm, and now he's trying to get it. You want more silver beet, don't you? You dropped it everywhere. There's a lot of debate on whether like you should feed your birds seeds at all, or you should just feed them pellets, or you should just feed them vegetables. It really comes down to people's opinions. A lot of people have different opinions on what you should feed your bird, so I recommend you do your own research too, and not just take from this video. Another big debate is whether you should clip your bird's wings or not. So when you first get your bird, it's likely their wings will already be clipped, because that's usually what pet stores, breeders and stuff do. When I first got Yuki, his wings were clipped, and they're pretty much almost growing in now. It has taken a while, but he does seem to be flying a lot better now, so that's good. Again, this is kind of like a controversial subject. on whether you should clip your bird's wings or not. Personally, I think it's kind of pointless to clip your bird's wings because even if they are clipped, they can still fly pretty well. The only thing clipping is really doing is making them not fly properly. So say if they get scared and they try to fly away with clipped wings, they'll be completely off balance because they're clipped, so they'll likely just crash into something. If their wings are not clipped, they can fly a lot better. They can fly away and go land on something. A lot of people say I clip my bird's wings so they don't crash into the windows or anything, but you can train your bird to just not crash into the window. Birds are very smart. They can learn where the windows are. Yuki knows where the windows are. If he gets a fright from something and flies away, he pretty much just flies in a circle and then sits on my shoulder again. But you know, wings are what makes your bird feel safe. It's how they get away from predators in the wild. Personally, in my opinion, I would not recommend that you clip your bird's wings, but you know, it's your bird. I can't stop you from doing what you feel is right for your bird, but I just don't really think there's much of a benefit of clipping your bird's wings because they can still fly. They just can't fly very well. And clipping the wings could potentially do more harm than good. Also, don't clip your wings so you can take your bird outside because, like I said, they can still fly pretty well with clipped wings and the wind could blow and they could catch that gust of wind and fly into a tree somewhere and they won't know how to get down because their wings are clipped. So don't do that. If you're gonna take your bird outside, get a harness train them. If you find a bird flying around your house annoying so you want to clip their wings, maybe don't get a bird. Just my opinion. It's kind of their thing. They have wings. They fly. They're birds. What do you expect? Another thing I should mention is cockatiels are dusty wee birds. They have a lot of dander, which is basically like bird dust. You may have seen him like when he ruffles up his feathers, all this dust goes everywhere and gets all over your clothes and all over your stuff and all that kind of stuff. And that doesn't bother me, but if you do have asthma or allergies, it might not be a good idea to get a cockatiel. I recommend you probably talk to your doctor about that first. You can get birds that aren't dusty like budgies and stuff. They don't have dander like cockatiels do, but cockatiels are very dusty. They get their dander everywhere, and a lot of people will have what do you call them? Air purifiers in their room, which I actually do want to get one of those one day. But yeah, it doesn't affect me, but that is a warning to those who it might affect. So I think this video is already pretty long, so I hope I talked about a few of the things you should think about before getting a cockatiel. The great thing about cockatiels is they're very chill compared to other birds. Since I grew up with budgies have a lot of energy. They fly around, they go crazy, but cockatiels just want to like sit on your shoulder and just watch you while you work or play games or something. And I think that's really cute and makes a really good companion to have if you spend a lot of time working from home. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more to know about cockatiels, so I recommend you do your own research as well. But that's just some things you should know before getting one. And I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, or if you have any things to add, let me know in the comments. And I hope this video helped you guys. Yeah, there's dust everywhere.
You dusty boy! You dusty boy!
Anyways, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the videos with Yuki because they're very fun to make because animals is something I'm very passionate about. Oh, dust everywhere.
Dusty boy!
Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!